What up, people? I'm not going to take up too much of your time here. But what I'm about to say is pretty much going to take up the video anyway. I'm just probably going to change my view so you can see what I'm seeing, so that I don't have to have this light shining in my face like this. Plus, what I'm about to say is the importance of the conversation anyway, or what I'm about to say. I have made a video prior and it had gotten taken down. And then once it got taken down, I'm guessing whoever was viewing my videos or viewing my live stream at the time, I think it was an old guy, European man, took what I said and went on YouTube, made a video and ran with it. So I'm about to just go ahead and break it down like it should be broken down, because he had placed some things into things that I said and he called it a story and really started talking about just going off topic a little bit. But I am the only one that I've noticed these things and continue to say these things on the internet and anywhere really. If you've seen anybody say it, to my knowledge, it was only the European guy, old man, and it was based on what he saw me saying. So anyway, I'm gonna get to the point. It's about what's going on in New York and New Jersey and pretty much all around America right now with these so-called drones. Okay, these are not drones. They are the Anunaki. Okay, this is on Egyptian cave walls. Everywhere it's there. Okay, and for some reason I'm gonna say people like to think that if you believe in Jesus Christ or God, then you cannot believe in aliens, which, or that one contradicts the other one. That is not true. That is far from the truth. In my opinion, you can believe in both. And for all we know, God created the Anunnaki as well. But either way, what we are seeing right now are the Anunnaki, and they have basically returned to Earth. I believe a lot of them have stayed here on Earth as watchers, hiding, but a lot of them left Earth and now they have returned. They come from the planet Nibiru, which also has been found, and the story goes that they basically left their planet and came to Earth in search of gold, and for whatever reason their planet needed gold to continue or to maintain or whatever the case was. We know that gold is in a lot of electrical things, computer chips and so forth. It's used to help with electricity and things of that nature, but I don't know what they needed it for, but they needed it. And they left their planet, they scoured the universe, and they came to Earth, and they scoured Earth as well, and found gold was in abundance in Africa. They landed there in Africa, and this is why the first signs of life, human life, was discovered in Africa as well. And dates back to Africa from what we can tell. They stayed here, they mined the gold, and what happened was they realized that they were getting sick from breathing Earth's atmosphere, and they could not sustain working here for long periods of time. And so one of them decided to take the embryo of a primate, which was an ape. This is why I say that God does exist. God did create the earth. God created animals, grass, and so on, and everything else here. But I do believe that when it comes to humanity and humans, God did not create humans, but he created animals. And he created everything else. If that makes sense for some of you, if it doesn't, then I don't know what to say to you, but this is my theory, and this is what's on the Egyptian cave walls. And they came and they took a fetus from a primate, an ape, and they like to tell us that humans evolved from apes, right? That's a lie. If humans evolved from apes, they would be evolving from apes today in front of our faces, and they are not doing that. But if we were 2% less than what we are now when it comes to our DNA and the strands and the double helix, we would be a primate. They are 2% off from us. That is insane when you think about it. But there's a reason, and it is because they took the embryo from an ape and impregnated one of themselves. The reason why they did this was because they wanted to create a race of a race of beings that would be able to mine the gold here on Earth. They genetically engineered a human. They gave birth to Adam, which was Adam, the first man. And when you think about it, there had to be a one to begin with. An intelligent something, if you don't believe in God, an intelligent something, or if you do, I do, but I don't believe in the man part of it. If you believe that an intelligent something created us, it had to be an intelligent force of some kind. And there had to be a one. You cannot have a child without a mother and a father. So who was Adam's mother? Who was Adam's father? And if it wasn't, and if you don't want to say, well, Adam, okay, well, who the first anything, right? This, you have to have a male and a female in order to do this, to reproduce, to make more. And there had to be a one to begin with. And that one cannot have been created with a two automatically, and then that created Adam. So my point is, there had to be a first man, a first human. That's fact. Without the help of a female giving birth or a father, from what they want to tell you. But I'm going to tell you that the Anunnaki created human beings. And I'm going to tell you that they gave birth to Adam. One of the Anunnaki gave birth to Adam and raised him. Because logically, when you think about this, if Adam was created as a baby, he would have had to be nurtured to adulthood. And even if he was created as an adult, he would have had to have some type of guidance throughout his adulthood on what to eat and what not to eat. Otherwise, he would have eaten poison and killed himself, because he couldn't just go around testing things and eating them, and by some miracle never eating something that would actually be poison that would kill him. So he had to be taught these things. He had to be given the knowledge of these things. And I'm going to tell you that the Anunnaki did this. And when they saw that it worked, they also created Eve for him. And I will go far as to say that in her case, it was a little more complex. And once they created her for him, the same process was done. And whether that was giving birth and raising them, or cloning them as adults and teaching them instead, I would imagine cloning would have taken more time, but either way, less time, because it would have been adults the way that they did this. But either way, they left out a specific gene or chromosome or whatever you want to call it in our DNA, making us dubbed down versions of themselves. And that's a fact, scientific fact. You can look in our DNA and see that there is something missing that should be there. And if it was there, we would be able to levitate things with our minds, speak to other human beings using our minds, not even having to use our mouth and words and voices. Hence why they possibly might not use language to speak with each other. This is why the Egyptian culture valued gold so much. Why wasn't copper or iron chosen to be over gold? Because what? Gold was more shiny. Silver was shiny as well. It was because of the fact that they carried on the tradition of gold being the most valuable out of all the metals. And this is why they worshipped, this is why they created gold statues, wore gold bracelets, gold helmets, the Egyptians. This is why they also did slavery, because they adopted that slavery mindset and mentality, and it was taught to them, as well as the hierarchy of kings and queens, two people who were supposed to be looked up to, and they were the two who would rule. This is like a hierarchy that was taught to them, right? Adam and Eve would have been the king and the queen. Royal bloodlines, all this was taught to them through the Anunaki. The Samaritan civilization was one of the first, if not the first. Ancient Sumerians, they knew things that only a species from outer space could have taught them, okay? Mapping of the stars, planets, where they are, things of that nature. Jesus and God would not have taught human beings where Mars and Saturn and Pluto and all these things were. For what reason? So anyway, they were supposed to, the humans were supposed to mine the gold. We were created to be slaves in the beginning of all this for them, and to mine the gold. They would come back, they would teach more, they would leave off planet, they would come back, they would teach humans. This is why there's such a gap in human evolution. They would come back, they would teach them different things that they knew. Things on how to survive, things on how to make weapons, lighting, clothing, you name it. They pretty much taught humans math, science, everything. They taught them. And they left. They came back, they get the gold, they leave, they come back, they teach, they leave, they come back, they teach. And eventually, until at some point they flooded the earth. It was because it was brothers, Enki and Enlil. And out of the two of them, one of them hated the fact that the other had came up with this idea to create humanity and had done so, and he hated humans. And he felt like it was a knock and a genetic watering down of their pure race to create humans using their DNA as well. And so he decided that he would flood the earth. One of the brothers had warned Noah, and Noah built the ark, and so that he could survive this flood that what the other brother had put upon the earth. And I'm guessing that at the end of the day, they left humanity to their own devices. And as of lately, they've been, if I'm going to jump forward, as of lately, they've been noticing humans getting out of hand. This is like the mom tapping on the door of her child and children and saying, calm it down in there. You're getting out of hand. If you don't, I'm going to spank that. You know what? Right? So they are noticing all this war activity going on. I believe they're sensing and noticing. I believe that they've been in communication with the world's top governments. I believe that a long time ago. I believe that type of thing happened. I believe the government is aware of them. I believe that they've helped the government. They never stop helping humanity to evolve and to reverse engineer and to create things. They never stop doing that. It's only a certain few that they kept in communication with. The hierarchy that would be considered to be of the human race. Freaking the governments. The higher ups, military, Area 51 type people, things of that nature. And so this is where how we were able to reverse engineer and create certain things, and because they've kept in contact with them this whole time, and they know what's going on right now. And my true opinion is they're getting ready to spank ass. Excuse my language. And if not, then they're here for one or two reasons. One, it's because the humans that were mining the gold no longer do it, because gold was disappearing out of places for years, and all of a sudden that stopped. Gold backs the dollar. America's been shoveling money into Ukraine like it's water, and now all of a sudden we're seeing these things flying over New York and New Jersey, over the White House, over the Pentagon, and they're not drones. It is them. That's who it is. These things have this group has scanned U.S. military facilities, scanned U.S. military runways, scanned the fighter jets, scanned where they keep the ammo, made 3D holographic images of bases. They've done all this. They've been flying over the electrical grid, certain places where the electrical grid is connected at, power plants, so on. In certain places, telephone lights are now blinking on and off out of the blue. In car lots, lights are blinking on and off. Nobody's even in the cars, and it just looks weird, like a big ass parking lot full of vehicles, and lights are just going off on and off like Christmas lights, and nobody's even in these vehicles. They're hovering over cars in New Jersey, and the radio station is going out, and the voices are sounding all crazy. I really honestly believe they have noticed that over so many decades and centuries that humans have now evolved to a point to where we're creating things that are detrimental to this planet. It's not even necessarily that they care about us. They care more about this earth. Humans are not the guardians of this world. I don't believe God would give humans the guardianship of this world. Not as many times as we have messed it up. Sodom, Gomorrah, boom, burned. The flood. It's just, we are not responsible. A lot of us are not even responsible enough to take care of our children, but we are going to be responsible for the earth. And now climate change, they're claiming that's not real. These vehicles, or supposed vehicles, have been seen hovering and misting, like not even misting, thick, heavy fog coming out of their vehicles into the atmosphere. What do you think they're doing? Clouds have caught on fire. Like someone took gasoline and poured them on the clouds, and they literally were on fire and just blew up. Clouds. Like, this is out there and it's happening. Like, seriously, just happening. What is it that they're doing? Are they terraforming the earth? Are they trying to save the earth from all this things that we have done to it? Look at the government telling us, oh, don't worry, everything's okay, it's not a threat, yet they're telling you they don't know what it is and they don't know what's going on, but it's not a threat. So spraying out thick what seems to be like fog out of these vehicles in midair, hovering, and just pouring it out, like it's just coming out unbelievably, like long periods of time, like you would take Raid in a can and spray it and just hold the sprayer down. This is what this looks like in the sky, but dark and just coming out all over the place. Like, what is that? Like, what chemical is that? Like, and what is it doing to the earth and its atmosphere? Is it fixing it? Is it over time going to poison us? Like, what is it? Like, what is the intention here? Then you turn around and they're flying over military bases, opening nuclear silos, letting it count down to like 2, and then closing it and taking off to the next place, doing the same thing, closing it, taking off to the next place. And at the time they were like, oh, we don't know what's happening. They were trying to tell you then, like, stop playing with nuclear activity. You are going to destroy the planet. There's enough nuclear weaponry between Russia, China, and America to blow the damn planet up. Like, God said the planet would never go away or go, be destroyed. But what I mean is contaminate the oceans, kill the fucking fish, blot out the sun, like nuclear fallout that will take out horses, animals, cows, natural life. Like, they are not going to allow that. Do people really think that if there's another species that loves this planet that's stronger than us, that they're going to allow humans who are acting like children with weaponry in their hands, blowing out their own brains, to tear this planet up to that point? Do you think they're going to let them do that? No, they're not going to let the government do that. So now what you are seeing is heavy activity. And we don't know what the spraying is. They've been seen shooting like laser beams out of their things. Like, I mean, come on, like, this is getting serious. Going in the oceans, coming out of the oceans. They could be terraforming the oceans. But whatever it is, I don't believe it is to harm humanity. Right? Because if they wanted to do that, they could have done that a long time ago. I do believe that they have now mapped our infrastructure, electrical grids, and so forth, things of that nature, jets, helicopters. Military soldiers have said they've seen these things flying over their bases. One of these bases got shut down. And I believe it's because they're holding that information in case humanity gets out of control in top government and decides to try to blow this planet up. Well, not blow it up, but, tear up the earth in the process of thinking that they can win some type of nuclear war. At that point, I believe the electrical grid would shut down. They've already proven they have an EMP weapon. Because anytime a police drone gets close to one of these things, or a military drone gets close to one of these things, they shut down and fall out of the sky. Military soldiers have leaked information stating that these things have no signal that leads back to anywhere. They have no heat signature, because these military bases have the technology to combat a regular civilian citizen's drone. They have systems that copy the drone systems so they can take control of the drone, or either they jam the signal and it falls from the sky. These things do not have that. They've chased these things to see where they've been going back to, and they run out of gas and have to refuel before they can. These things that went out 400 miles and farther like as if they could go on forever, and they have to land. So they can't chase them back to where they're going. And then they go in the ocean in front of everybody, and nobody can go under the ocean and maneuver like that. It seems clear to me that God has made these beings rulers of this earth. Because a true ruler and master of the earth can do whatever they want in it at any time. We cannot do that. If I tell you to go under the ocean in a submarine, you can do it. If I tell you to go fly, you can fly. If I tell you to get in that thing right there and shoot into outer space for 10 seconds and then hit the ocean freaking in 2 seconds after that, and then come out of the ocean, turn your vehicle into 2 pieces and split up and go separate ways at Mach 13, you can't do that. You are not the master of the universe. I mean, of this earth either. You're not the masters of this earth. We're just in it. We were created by them. They have dominion to do whatever it is they want over us. And that's just the facts of it. People don't have to believe it. It's whatever. You could do your research. You go on look on the cave walls. Enki, Enlil, they were brothers. They visited Earth before. They created humans. They created the first human. There's reasons why we have certain things going on in our bodies that we can't explain. There's reasons why we don't have this particular thread or link in our DNA chain that would make us like highly intelligent off the Richter scale to be able to do things that they're doing. It was so that we couldn't rebel. They left that out genetically on purpose. And they left us here. This is what's going on. The Anunnaki are back on the earth and they're making themselves known. What the goal is, I believe it's to stop humans from destroying the earth. And if they have to, they will do something to the higher ups in government, including the military, because the military can't fight them. There's no way. There's no way for them to fight the military. They're gearing up right now. And I'm sure they've spoken to someone in the higher ups at some form of communication in some way. And they done told him to knock this off. And, the military is just like, the government is just like, we are the top dogs. We are the, this or that. The only way I can see them not being a threat and the government saying that they're not a threat is because they've already told the government what they're doing. And the government know when they're flying around out here what they're doing. So therefore, they are talking about it's not a threat. But even if it was a threat, I don't think they would tell us. But I do believe that the reason why they're not shooting them down is because they know what they're doing. And if they don't know what they're doing, they're still not shooting them down because that would just cause retaliation. If you're a kid, you don't hit your mother. You don't hit your father, the big dog. They try to come out and say, oh, these things are from Russia and China, and it's top. China launched a mothership along with Iran, and they let out. Do you know how much money it would cost to build a mothership? Are you serious? Motherships and gas drones up and keep them maintenanced. And you mean to tell me, like that lady said, Iran and China can just pull up a mothership to America and launch drones the size of school buses over our local cities, and there's nothing that America could do about it? And on top of it, America would tell us that there's no threat from a foreign country? So that's bull, okay? Drones have to have an ID. You cannot fly a drone without having an ID, especially over military installations. So when they say these are, a guy flew a drone over a football game and the police found him and questioned him about that and got all crazy. You think if they're flying school bus sized drones over military installations and doing scans that they wouldn't have said nothing by now? Come on. We know what we're seeing. But anyway, that's my take on it. Y'all have a good night. And anybody who don't believe it, that's up to you. I don't care. This is what I truly have believed with the research that I've done, that this is the Anunnaki race of beings, and they have returned to the earth. Now, whether it's because they're trying to save the planet, which is what it is, I believe they're trying to save the planet. Whether that means from humans destroying it through a nuclear war, or if that means terraforming the climate and trying to fix the climate. Because they have a lot to do with mastering creation that we live in, more so than we do. I believe that there's things that they know that we don't know, things that they're capable of for sure that we're not capable of. If they taught human beings how to map the stars and the planets, I'm sure by now they know how to save a climate, an atmosphere, an ozone layer. Now that I think about it, that cloud that exploded, that looked like it was on fire, when the fire went out, it did look like gold particles. A lot of little gold particles in clouds. Now, I don't know if that's the same thing they did on their planet, to save their planet. Because remember, they mined the gold that was here in order to save their planet. So, for all we know, the gold does something to our atmosphere and to our climate as well. Anyway, I'm going to keep looking into it. But as of right now, this is where I stand. And if y'all don't believe it, y'all need to do your research and look into it. Have a good night.